Hey all, I've been meaning to start using this channel more to talk about some things in my mind about games and anime and self-help or whatever. I don't even want to be a political person necessarily. Cases like these are so egregious that if it ends up having to be a technically political thing, then I guess so be it. I have to say this right now, I have the apparently hot take that unprompted, unprovoked violence is bad. Right, it's unethical and it certainly doesn't even help solve any issues that you might have. We're gonna get into that. So, Charlie Kirk, he was shot, he was killed during one of his typical outings to debate college students. There's an extremely graphic video of it that millions of people have seen. Depending on which social media user I randomly select, there's a fair chance that whoever it is had a hearty laugh at it or went on to share a post mocking or celebrating that assassination. I feel like I'm not on Earth anymore. What is happening? What is wrong with people? A lot of people want to ask the question, what is wrong with leftists, which is also tempting to ask, but the question to me has always been for a long time, what is wrong with political brain rot? People would get on me for this too, on top of everything else for being a centrist, right? A centrist by saying the right does this too, but it's true. It's not exactly difficult to find if you pinpoint particular circles. That's a subset of very far-right people, but regardless, the amount of mental gymnastics reps that you have to fit in to justify celebrating death in these ways, it's ridiculous. Can you believe we have to say this now, that killings of non-violent people, who don't even have a hand in legislation by the way, they're not inciting violence, these unprovoked killings are a bad thing. It's so unbelievable to me that part of me wants to believe that this is some psyop by the government or some other government to make the leftists here look bad. And to be quite honest with you, I haven't ruled that out. You know, the whole divide and conquer thing, it's such a classical way to go about achieving power. And still, on some individualistic level, you have to call out the issue here. You can't ignore it. The ends do not actually justify the means. You know, celebrating and chugging champagne over a father and a husband getting shot in front of his kids. It looks bad for a reason. That's another thing about this. If you're a reasonable person, you probably want to say to the people who are celebrating this something like, think about the kids, right? You feel compelled to say, well, think about his family, right? His currently pregnant wife and 2 kids were there at the scene, and now they're going to be traumatized and fatherless for life, and the effects of these things, in many cases, are even worse than a bullet wound, right? You want to explain just how awful this all is to them. They can't even hear you. These people, they can't compute that. They don't hear you. They're genuinely not capable of empathizing with people's feelings about this in a few ways. This is one of those. They're already the kind of people who deplore children and family because they inconvenience them, they annoy them, so on and so forth, right? They hate their family, they hate themselves. It's only natural for them to have this response of scoffing and rolling their eyes if you want to suggest to them this idea of a stable, happy family. And again, if you're a reasonable person, you're probably not exactly persuaded by rhetoric like that. How can this be convincing, logically or emotionally, to anyone outside of this sociopathic bubble? This bubble of wanting people who have committed the crime, and this is what it is, of disagreeing with you and having open discussions about it. Why would anyone be convinced to listen to that bubble? How can the people in that bubble not process this idea that maybe that's not a convincing look for them, especially when they want to have this appearance of the people who actually care about human rights, right? The answer to these questions, it's probably just that, is that it's a bubble. And this is the brain rot that I'm talking about, the disconnect between these people and basic morality. If there is a slight political spin on it, it's so far off, right? It's so far away. Like I said earlier, it's like we're not even on Earth anymore. How can we come so far as a species that is capable of such high-level, in-depth communication, and at the same time we have a huge chunk of the population that can suddenly forget the ability to think outside of themselves. That's what empathy is, by the way. It's not feel good, it's not give everyone free toys, and it's not even I agree with you. It is merely the ability, the capacity to simply understand another person's point of view and how they reached it. If someone has the comprehension level needed to understand what happened to Charlie Kirk and his family and everything else, and they still pump their fist in the air and they say, hell yeah, when's the next one? Only one of 2 things are possible. Number 1, they are plainly evil, right? Or number 2, the politics brain rot has eaten them up so much on the inside that whenever a situation can be even remotely politicized, they see their team's color. They can only think in terms of that. And it's frightening. That's terrible. That is a bad thing. They're stuck in the but I didn't have breakfast this morning phenomenon. Only this time it has to do with someone's life. So, and I hate to sound so dehumanizing, by the way. I want everyone to get along and love each other and have a good time and have peace and all these nice things. I want to humanize everyone where possible. It's difficult to do that when, in every sense of the expression, people like this can't see eye to eye with their fellow man about the God-given right to both live and to express yourself. I wish I was exaggerating, but that's really what it's come to. Maybe it has for a while and I haven't realized it, but I want to continue to be amicable with people who disagree with me. Charlie Kirk, he was a total cornball, but the premise behind his whole gimmick, it was very powerful to me, to be cordial and with people who disagree with you, have discussions and be an open person. That's the first time I'm mentioning that, by the way, I guess. Not that it matters, but I was annoyed by him constantly. I sat there and I laughed at the South Park episode. Most of the times that I saw a clip of him come up, I would exhale and be like, oh man, if it isn't my favorite grifter. But I did always appreciate genuinely that format. I still think we could all stand to learn a lot from that and by adopting it in our own ways. But yeah, pretty mortifying stuff, and I wish this could be a wake-up call to more people about just how trivial and fleeting, quote, heavy political disagreements can be. It's not worth losing community over. It's not worth losing your dignity over. It's certainly not worth killing someone over. Good Lord. God rest his soul. I guess I'll leave it there.